Welcome back to OT Sports. Today we got our Week 7 college football top 25 rankings. If you guys are enjoying these videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss any of our videos. We do college football every Monday night, NFL game picks every Wednesday night, and then usually MLB sometime over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But with the playoffs going on, there's not much to do. I made my playoff predictions already. You can go check that out. I know they've already started, but um, yeah. And then basketball season's right around the corner. NBA's about to start really in like 2 weeks, I think. And then so we'll be making weekly videos for that. And then college basketball uh, once that gets back into you know into the swing of things, then we'll make videos for college basketball every week too. So at one point you'll have 4 videos a week. So there's a lot of content coming up. I'm very excited. We're in the heat of the football season right now, and then the basketball season's just around the corner. So yeah, super excited for that. Make sure you guys subscribe and look out for that. But yeah, enough talking. Let's just get right into our top 25 for this week. Starting off with Miami at number 25. Now, I apologize. The graphics on the scores and the upcoming game and the standings, they're a little different this week. I was having trouble like getting the scoreboards I usually use. I don't know why, so I had to use these from ESPN. I mean, it's the same thing, really. So it just doesn't look as nice, but I had to make sure we got the video out in time, so this is just what we're gonna have to go with. We'll just make it work. It's fine. To number 25, Miami. Not a good loss, losing to Georgia Tech at home when you couldn't have kneeled the ball. You decide to run it for some reason, fumble it, and then give up a field goal. Or wait, no, they gave up I think it was a touchdown, a game-winning touchdown, but it might have been a field goal actually. Yeah, that was not good. I don't know what the decision process was there. Um, yeah, that was really bad. They should not have lost this game. They did in an embarrassing way, so they fall down 8 spots. Like that's just not. You can't be doing that if you're Miami. Yeah, they went on a last-second touchdown. It's just bad stuff. It's kind of tough that they lost the game that way, heading into a big game against North Carolina. They're on the road too, so it's going to be tough either way. Um, I feel like they would have had a higher chance to win if they did end up beating Georgia Tech last week, and came into this undefeated, 2 undefeated ACC teams. Um, but North Carolina, man, I'm starting to really jump on the North Carolina train. 5-0 now. They've impressed me the past 3 weeks, really, ever since the Minnesota game. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just starting to kind of see North Carolina as a very good team and potentially an ACC contender. The ACC is pretty good this year, actually. So, but they could definitely. I wouldn't be shocked if they won. In my opinion, they're the second best team in the conference. I just don't think Miami has enough here. I think North Carolina's offense will give them some problems. It's going to come down to Drake May. If he turns the ball over, then maybe they have a shot. But Drake May just needs to be smart with the ball. I think they should be able to beat Miami. I'm not really too sure how good Miami really is. Like realistically, they did beat Texas A&M, but how good is Texas A&M? It's another question. So, but yeah, I'm falling down 8 spots, and I think they pick up their second loss this week against North Carolina. Number 24, Kentucky. Man, I thought before the game, I thought that Kentucky really had a shot at winning this. Like, I'm not even kidding. I thought They I thought they had a chance. Man, they went into Georgia. It's a tough place to win. I didn't think they would win, but I thought they there was a shot at least. And yeah, Georgia just absolutely beat the crap out of them. I mean, there was no chance. I mean, Kentucky was not in this game at all. First drive, Georgia goes down, scores a touchdown. Yeah, Kentucky just never had a shot at this one, and Georgia really reminded the country and me also that they are a uh, a very good football team, and they should not be getting disrespected. I dropped them down to 4 last week. We'll talk about more Georgia later, but yeah, I was kind of the thinking here was I like the matchup for Kentucky against Georgia. I thought that they could give them some problems in the run game because Georgia's run defense wasn't really all that good this year, at least so far. And Kentucky has a very solid running back in Ray Davis, but he did not get anything going. And Carson Beck looked very good. Um, and yeah, upcoming game against Missouri. Now this is I think I mean whoever wins this game will be in the top 25 next week. Um, Whoever loses will not. I think Kentucky wins. They're at home. I think they're the better team. But I feel like these are kind of similar teams, like Kentucky, Missouri, both in the SEC East, both kind of in this range of tiers of teams. And yeah, this should be a good game, but I think Kentucky wins. I think their run game, uh, yeah, it's a bounce back game, and I think they pound the ball against Missouri. I think they win. But Missouri's offense is very good, so I think it'll force Kentucky to have to, you know, maybe go into the pass game. I'm still gonna trust them to win though. I just think they're the better team. Number 23, Kansas, moving up 3 spots back in the top 25 after that loss to Texas. Not last week, but the week before. Um, I mean, it was the game before this UCF game. They looked a lot better with Jalen Daniels back, and man, if they had Jalen Daniels against Texas, maybe they could have put up a better fight in the game. But yeah, they didn't even have they didn't even have Jalen Daniels this game. They had Jason Bean, and they still put up 51 points. I actually thought I could have sworn Jalen Daniels was back, but yeah, their running game really got going. They had 400 yards on the ground. Um, so yeah, I guess that's the story here. Almost 3 running backs with over 100 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, that'll do it. They looked very good. I did not know their running game was that solid. Maybe it's because it's against UCF. I think they win big again against Oklahoma State. I don't know when Jalen Daniels is coming back, but honestly, I don't think it matters for this game. Um, yeah, so give me Kansas big. Number 22, LSU. I have them moving down 2 spots, even though they won against a ranked team on the road. And you're gonna call me, you might think that sounds crazy, but I think I had LSU a little too high, like highly ranked last week. Um, I mean, what it comes down to is they don't have a good defense at all. I mean, their defense is atrocious. The offense is very good, one of the best in the country, if not the best. I don't think it's the best, but it's definitely up there. And yeah, I mean, looking at they gave up 45 to Florida State, 31 to Arkansas, 55 to Ole Miss, 39 to Missouri. Um, I mean, their defense is god awful. I think they play Auburn this week. I think they win. They are at home, but I think it's a high scoring game once again. They're gonna. I mean, this defense is just atrocious. I don't think there's any chance they beat Alabama this year. I think in a couple weeks when they do, they have to go on the road, and also Alabama's looking a lot better. Um, I mean, their schedule is fairly easy besides that game, so they could definitely win out. They could definitely go 9-3, which is a very solid year. Definitely not up to the expectations that they were given at the start of the year, but I don't think there's any chance they win the West, really. Um, LSU's already played Ole Miss. LSU already lost to Ole Miss. So Ole Miss is going to have the tiebreaker over them, and then Alabama has the tiebreaker over Ole Miss. I just think if they, I don't think there's any chance they win the West realistically. Um, I do think they beat Auburn. Auburn's not that good of a team. So I mean, this is a team that kept it close to Georgia, but I think LSU has just. I think LSU will be able to outgun them here on the offense side of the ball. Tennessee coming off the bye. You're gonna have to play a Texas A&M team who is a tough team. I mean, they're not an easy win. Alabama beat them by 6 last week, um, and they lost to Miami in week 2. But Texas A&M is not a bad team at all. I think they could hang with Tennessee here. I'm kind of interested to see how Tennessee plays. I feel like I need to watch more of them. I don't really know too much about how they've been doing. Their team is obviously not as good as last year with Jalen Hyatt, Hendon Hooker, all those guys. Joe Milton is not on the level of Hendon Hooker. We kind of already knew that, but I mean, some people thought he was going to be the next, you know, I don't know, whoever. But I think this is a close game. I think Texas A&M hangs with them for a while, but I think Tennessee has just enough. Yeah, I mean, Tennessee having it at home is a huge advantage. If it was like Kyle Field, maybe I would go Texas A&M, but I think Tennessee gets at home. I think they win. Number 20, Washington State, moving out 7. Team that I was very high on. They beat Oregon State. They beat Washington, or not Washington. They beat Oregon State. They beat Wisconsin. 2 pretty good wins throughout the first 4 weeks. Then they lay a stinker against UCLA. They should have won this game. Yeah, they turned the ball over about 17 times, it felt like. And they still were. I mean, they were winning heading into the fourth. But man, they just. The turnovers really killed them in this. I don't know how many it exactly was. I'm going to pull that up. But man, if they didn't turn the ball over, they definitely would have won this game, and they would have been 5-0. Heading into a game against Arizona, Cam Ward did not play very good. He had 200 yards, 19 for 39, 1 touchdown, 2 completions, or no, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. They had 3 fumbles. So they had 4 turnovers. Yeah, it sucks, man, because they could have made some noise in the Pac-12. They could have been 6-0 heading into a game against Oregon. And, I mean, they have a very easy schedule looking at it now. If they would have won this game against UCLA, they potentially could have went 10-2. Only losses coming to Oregon and Washington. Both of those on the road, but I mean Washington, that's a rivalry game. They could win that very, very well. And then against Oregon, their offense is very good. They could definitely compete with Oregon. I'm not saying they wouldn't. I mean, they had a shot, for sure, at making the Pac-12 championship. Now it's going to be a little harder with the loss to UCLA. And I'm kind of worried that the Pac-12 might not get a team in the playoffs. I know that's crazy to say, but I'm worried that they're all gonna beat each other, and then they're all gonna end up with 2 losses, and none of them will get in. I mean, you're kind of already seeing it. Utah handed UCLA their first loss. Oregon State gave Utah a loss. UCLA gave Washington State a loss. Washington State gave um, Oregon State a loss. So like it's kind of you see it there with those four teams in the middle of the standings. They have all kind of beat each other already, and then the teams at the top, USC, Oregon, and Washington, they all play each other, and they also all play the teams a little below them. I mean, I'm a little worried that they're all gonna end up beating each other, and none of them will get in, which is crazy to say because the Pac-12 is the best they've been in years, and I mean it's the best conference in college football. I mean, and they might not end up with a team. I'm worried. I'm a little worried that might happen, and I could definitely see that happen. Washington State against Arizona this week, an Arizona team who has kept it close with Washington and USC back-to-back weeks. Now they're on the road against another tough team. I think they keep it close. I think Washington State edges them out barely in this one. Number 19 UCLA. We talked about this game. Good win against Washington State. Heading into a game against Oregon State on the road. I think Oregon State's just the better team here. I think this will be not like a crazy high scoring game. Oregon State was in a shootout with Cal last week. Um, I mean, Cal never really had a chance, but they just kept scoring. Um, Oregon State was in control for most of the game, though. They were up 11 for 11 or 10 the majority of the game, and then Cal scored a late touchdown to make it look a little closer than it really was. Um, Coming off a big win against Washington State, having to travel to Oregon State now, I feel like that's going to be tough, and Oregon State's a pretty good team, so I'm going to take Oregon State here, but UCLA, a very solid win this past week, and I think they definitely have a shot at beating Oregon State too. Oregon State's a beatable team, a gettable team. I wouldn't be shocked if UCLA won, but give me Oregon State. Duke coming off the bye, heartbreaking loss to Notre Dame. I mean, that was a tough loss. They had it right there. Notre Dame scores the last second touchdown to end up winning. Game home against NC State, I don't see them having any problems here. I didn't move them coming off the bye. I think they deserve to be here. Number 17, Utah, another team coming off the bye. I just moved them up too by process of teams in front of them getting moved back. That's really all I gotta say there. Yeah, they lost to Oregon State the last time they played. Got some time to recover. Playing Cal this week, who was in a shootout against Oregon State last week. But I think the Utah defense should give them some problems, and I think they should take care of business at home against Cal. Number 16, Notre Dame, handed their second loss of the season, eliminating them from college football playoff contention. Yeah, I said it. This is a trap game. I said it all of last week's video. On the road against a ranked team, a good Louisville team. I think they got caught looking ahead to USC. I really did. They didn't look very good. Louisville really just ran away with this game, kind of just kept chipping onto their lead, and Notre Dame couldn't do anything about it. They didn't really respond ever. It was 17-13 Louisville heading into the fourth quarter. Yeah, 7-7 at half. Notre Dame took the lead early in the second half, 10-7. But after that, it was really all Louisville. Notre Dame had a field goal in there and then a touchdown late. But I mean, just listen to the score: 10-10. Louisville takes lead 17-10. Then Notre Dame kicks a field goal 17-13. 24-13 Louisville, 27-13 Louisville, 30-13 Louisville, 33-13 Louisville. I mean, they just kept chipping on to their lead, and Notre Dame just couldn't respond. They got a late touchdown to make it a little closer than it really was. But yeah, Louisville just dominated them in the second half, which I was not expecting. Heading into halftime, I was kind of thinking, okay, I think Notre Dame should have this one. It was a close first half, but I thought Notre Dame would end up pulling away. But no, it was the exact opposite. Louisville really just dominated them, and Sam Hartman didn't have a great game. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That really killed them, the interceptions. But I mean, Sam Hartman. Uh, I mean, he had 3 interceptions and 2 fumbles lost. So I mean, 5 turnovers from him alone. That really just gave Louisville the game. But now, maybe they were looking ahead. Maybe that's what you can say as a Notre Dame fan. So maybe they're extra prepared for this game. I don't know. USC though, a team who has not impressed me at all the past 2 weeks. Close games against Arizona last week, and then I forgot who they played the week before. Um, forgot who they played the week before, but it was Colorado. Um, USC's defense is not good, ladies and gentlemen. It is. I mean, I don't think it's any secret. I've been saying it. The defense is going to be the reason they lose. Um, but I mean, it's home for Notre Dame. That's huge, I think. So it's a far travel for USC. It's a home night game for Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame controls the clock, time of possession. I think they run the ball efficiently. I think they keep Caleb Williams and USC's offense off the field, and I think their defense makes just enough plays. And I think they win 28-24. I really do. I think if they can just keep the USC offense off the field, force a turnover, could win this game. I don't see them having any problems offensively. So I think they run the ball. I don't think USC is capable of stopping them. Their run game. They've one of the best offensive lines in the country and one of the best running backs in the country, Audric Estime. So I think the matchup's just there for Notre Dame, and they have it at home. It's a night game. Like, everything's just pointing to Notre Dame. I would feel better about this if Notre Dame didn't lose last week, but I'm talking it up to they were looking ahead. They've had 3 tough games in a row. This is kind of their final tough game on their schedule. You could say at Clemson's tough, but they haven't impressed at all. And they get it between. Um, so I don't know. I feel like the matchup's there. I'm taking Notre Dame. But yeah, they moved down 6 spots after the loss last week. Number 15, Oregon State moving down 1. They, I was saying this last time. I didn't think their defense was all that good, and all I heard about in the Utah game was how elite their defense was, and then they let up 40 points to Cal. I think this is kind of a mid-tier scoring game. It's not like a shootout, but I don't think it's a defensive battle either. I think they are just the better team. They get it at home against UCLA. UCLA coming off a big win. I think they might be riding that high a little too much. I think Oregon State wins. Number 14, Louisville. We talked about this game. Forced a lot of turnovers. Really impressed. They're up at 14 now. At Pitt, I don't see them struggling at all. Pitt is a horrible team. I was kind of thinking maybe Louisville might lose next week, just right after they beat Notre Dame. I was kind of thinking that just because coming off the huge win, sometimes teams let down next week. But at Pitt's not a good team. They've really disappointed. I am going 8-4. That's preseason. That was my prediction for them. They're already 1-4, so unless they win out, but I don't see that happening for them. Especially not in this ACC. This is a very good ACC this year. Um, but yeah, give me Louisville big. Number 13, UNC. I said this when I was on Miami. I'm kind of starting to ride the UNC high. Moving them up 3 spots here. Now they're up to 13. I don't know. I'm kind of starting to see them here as a pretty good team. Yeah, coming up, we already know what my score prediction was for this game. I think North Carolina's just the better team. I think they outmatched Miami pretty much everywhere. Yeah, it looked really good against Syracuse. I thought that game would be a little closer than it was. The defense looked pretty good too. Yeah, I mean UNC is just a pretty solid team all around. I think if Drake May is gonna go in the first round of the NFL draft next year, so he's obviously a good quarterback, and he could definitely win them some games that they shouldn't win. So watch out for UNC. They could definitely make some noise in the ACC. Yeah, I'm taking them here against Miami. Number 12, Ole Miss. I don't know why I do this. I always take longer on the teams near the bottom, and then I kind of speed through. I don't know why I do it, but it's kind of just like I feel like I'm making the video too long, and it ends up long always anyway. I don't know. Ole Miss 12, moving up 3. Not they didn't really do much last week. It's kind of just the process of teams in front of them falling behind. They got a nice win against Arkansas. Arkansas is a team who's been close with a lot of people. They are 2-4, so they don't look too good, but they've been in some close games with some good teams. LSU is one of them. They were close with. Ole Miss is on bye this week, so no game prediction for them. Number 11, Alabama, staying at 11. I kind of wanted to move them up, but I really just couldn't because all 10 teams in front of them I didn't think deserve to fall behind Alabama. They got a nice win against Texas A&M. I believe my prediction for this game was 27-20, so pretty spot on. The Alabama defense is very good, people. A lot better than I thought they were, and it looks like Milroe's starting to get into a rhythm. He played better in this game. So it was a tough game on the road at A&M. It's a rivalry. Always a close game. But Milroe played pretty good. So Alabama's starting to figure some things out. Milroe 321 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jermaine Burton is a very good wide receiver. 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. So, very solid. Very, very solid there. Sorry, I was looking at something. Yeah, upcoming game against Arkansas. I said this a second ago. Arkansas has been close with some good teams. Ole Miss, LSU. I believe there's one more. I think this could be a close game, but I think Alabama's just better. I think Milroe's going to continue to get better and more comfortable. I mean, the talent's always going to be there for Alabama. The coaching's always going to be there. I think as we continue to get into the season, I think they'll get better and better. starting to get back on the Alabama train just a little bit. I think they pick up another win against Arkansas. Number 10, USC moving down 2 spots. Almost lost to Arizona at home. This game didn't end until like 2:30 Eastern time. Um, I mean, yeah, it was a late one. Pac-12 West Coast game. And I was gonna go to bed, and I was checking my phone to see if there was any close games, and I was like, "Oh, Arizona's um, USC's winning 28-20 late in the game. Arizona with the ball. I guess I'll turn this on." And I didn't get too much sleep that night, but it was worth it because Arizona gave them a hell of a fight. Um, USC did ultimately win in the third overtime. Um, if I was Arizona, man, I would have. I mean, it's tough that they started with the ball, so maybe that's why they didn't go for two in the first overtime. But if I was Arizona, man, and I got the ball to this, if I was Arizona and I got the ball second in overtime, I definitely would have went for two, and they definitely could have won then. USC was lucky that they got the ball second. Yeah, the upcoming game against Notre Dame, they haven't impressed me lately. I think they lose. It's a far travel. I don't think they match up very well. And I think they lose. I don't know. I don't like USC really at all. I'm very worried for this game for them. I just the matchup, and it's far travel. It's on the road. It's a night game. Like everything's pointing Notre Dame in this matchup. Matchup wise, USC hasn't looked good the past 2 weeks. I know Notre Dame just lost, but maybe they were looking ahead, and maybe USC was looking ahead too. Can't forget that. But this is definitely the best game this week. There is, well, no, this isn't the best game. This is the second best game. There's really two very good games this week in college football. We'll get to the best one in my opinion in just a second here. But yeah, I think USC loses. I don't know. The matchup just it doesn't favor them. Oh boy, I moved up Texas to number 2 last week, and now have to drop them 7 spots. And they lost to Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. I said this one could go either way. I almost did pick. I had Oklahoma, and then right before I made the video last week, I switched to Texas because I got scared. Shouldn't have got scared, man. Oklahoma, their defense made some big plays early and late in the game, really just throughout the game. And Dillon Gabriel looked very good. He could definitely win the Heisman. I wouldn't be surprised. He played a very good game. Quinn Ewers, he had the yards, but 2 interceptions. Just that's not what you want to see. If you look at the box score, you'd think Texas won, but Oklahoma, last second touchdown. This was one of the best games of the year, and well, at least so far. And yeah, Oklahoma picks up a very big win against Texas. Um, so yeah, they're here at 9 now. They're on the bye this week, so no prediction for them. But yeah, Oklahoma, very impressive win. Texas made some pretty big mistakes, and I was very impressed with Oklahoma's defense. They made they looked pretty good. They have a very high ceiling. They have a lot of potential. I don't think they're at their full form yet, and the offense, Dillon Gabriel is going to continue to get better. Oklahoma could very well make the college football playoff this year. Now Texas, talking about the playoff for them, they still can make it. They're gonna have to win out and win the Big 12, we're probably gonna get this game again in the Big 12 championship. I don't think. I mean, these two teams are really the top boys in this conference, and then you got Kansas, but I don't think Kansas should be any problems. I mean, West Virginia's up there, but it's West Virginia. But yeah, Texas kind of backed themselves into a corner. Their schedule's pretty easy, so I mean, the hardest game they have is probably at TCU. I mean, they play Houston, BYU, Kansas State, TCU, Iowa State, Texas Tech, all kind of just middle of the road Pac-12, or not Pac-12, all kind of middle of the road Big 12 teams. I don't think they lose any of them. Now, if they beat Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game, then they should probably make it in. They'll have a win over Alabama, have a win over the team that they lost to also, and be a conference champ. But you're gonna have to win out. They bye this week. Maybe it's good for them. Just kind of reset, focus on, put the game in the past and just focus on the rest of the season. But man, that was a great game. Number 8, Oregon. Speaking of great games, they're coming off the bye this week. Both Oregon and Washington coming off the bye, and they play each other this week. This is going to be the best game of the week. Two very, very good offenses meeting in a top 10 matchup. This could definitely go either way. Washington has a big advantage having it at home. If this was at Oregon, I don't think there's any world where Oregon loses, because that stadium's this is a huge advantage. So at Washington, I do think Washington is the better team, just all around. I think Oregon has maybe the better talent, maybe the better players. But I think Washington's the better team, and they get it at home, which is a very big advantage for them. This is one I going back and forth on. Bo Nix, Michael Penix, two Heisman contenders for sure. I'm going to trust Washington just a bit more. I feel like they've looked better this year than Oregon, just very slightly. I don't know, but this could definitely go either way. I'm very intrigued to see how both these teams play against each other. This will definitely tell us a lot of what we need to know about both of these teams, really. But I'm going to take Washington in a shootout, 37-34. Penn State coming off the bye. I forgot to mention, some of the teams coming off the bye still have the old ones, the old graphics. Hopefully we get them back next week. I don't know why they weren't working, but it's whatever. Penn State doesn't move coming off the bye. They should have no problems against UMass. Yeah, no problems whatsoever. Yeah, Washington, we talked about this. They didn't move coming off the bye. They had a close game against Arizona, but maybe they were looking ahead. But they're coming off the bye again. Extra time to prepare. They have it at home. I don't know. I feel like this is one where whoever gets the ball last is going to win. The spread is Washington minus 2.5. ESPN FPI is giving Oregon a 55% chance to win this game. Both these quarterbacks just tremendous seasons through 5 games. Michael Penix at 2,000 yards already, so he's averaging 400 a game. 16 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Bo Nix at 1,500, so he's averaging about 300 a game. 15 touchdowns, 1 interception. Both very solid teams. Both teams averaging 550 yards a game. Now, Washington's allowed a lot more yards than Oregon has, but Oregon really hasn't played anyone. They played Colorado, and they shut down Colorado, so that's actually a very solid defensive performance. And looking at Washington, they've been very solid defensively, too. The most points they've let out is 32 against Cal. And then moving to Oregon. The most points they've allowed is 30 to Texas Tech. Washington's definitely had the harder schedule. Well, maybe not definitely, but I don't know. I feel like it's pretty even actually, because Oregon at Texas Tech and then Colorado, and Washington at Michigan State at Arizona. So kind of similar. And then they had Boise State also, kind of similar schedules. Maybe Oregon has played the better teams, but yeah, this is one that could go either way. But I'm gonna take Washington. I don't know. I trust Michael Penix just a little more. Bo Nix hasn't been good in well, he's been good obviously, but he hasn't been good in his career in big games. So maybe that's what my brain's kind of thinking. I don't know. I trust Michael Penix just a bit more, and I trust Washington just a bit more. I think they win. This is a huge advantage having it at home. I'm telling you, if it was at Oregon, I'd take Oregon, but I mean it's that close. I'm going to take Washington 37-34. Number 5, Florida State. They did not move for me. They picked up a good win against Virginia Tech. They should have won. Um, you know, I'm not sure what to think about this team. They beat LSU, who hasn't looked good at all this year, and then at Clemson's not good either. They haven't looked good at all, and they needed overtime to beat them. Now it was a road game. It was a rivalry game that they haven't won in 8 years, so maybe it's a pass there. And they did beat LSU, so that is that is good for them. But yeah, they're coming. I'm sorry if you could hear the beeping. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully that goes away in a minute. But yeah, Virginia Tech, that was a good win for them. And then their upcoming game against Syracuse this week. Syracuse is a team that I thought would keep it closer with Clemson, it closer with North Carolina. They ultimately got blown out by both of them, both of those teams. So three tough games for Syracuse. I think Florida State should beat them pretty good here. I don't see them struggling, but if they do, Florida State's a team that could drop down. I could see them. You can make an argument for Florida State being as high as 3, and I think you can make an argument for Florida State being as low as maybe 8. Like they're just a team with. I don't know. I don't know what to think about them. I'm kind of right in the middle with them. Number 4, Oklahoma, moving up 8 spots, but the big win against Texas. They've been very impressive, and yeah, they're in my top 4 now. So good for them. They have a bye this week, so no upcoming prediction for them. Yeah, Dylan Gabriel's really coming into his own. The defense is coming into its own. Really, the whole team. They're a scary team, and they don't play anyone tough either. They have bought by themselves some wiggle room with the win over Texas in this game. I mean, if these are college teams, so if they're not going to play the best every week. I mean, it's football. Anything could happen. So Oklahoma, if they were to say drop one to a team like TCU or Kansas State or somebody, or West Virginia, I don't know, somebody of that nature, but then they beat Texas again, I think they would be in the playoff. Obviously, I don't know what the other teams around them would look like, but they've definitely bought themselves some wiggle room with this win, and this was a huge win for them. So yeah, Oklahoma moving up 8 spots. Ohio State staying at 3. This is the second week in a row where I've had teams switching around them. I kind of just had them stay right in the middle of that. They're staying at 3. They kind of sleptwalk in the first half against Maryland. I am an Ohio State fan, so I watch all of their games, and I'm worried for Penn State, not this week, but next week, because Ohio State really hasn't played the best through the first 5 weeks of the season. Well, I guess through the first 6 weeks, because they already had their bye. Yeah, I don't know. They played a lot better in the second half. They did beat Maryland pretty bad in the second half. And I mean this didn't feel like a 37-17 type of game. It kind of felt more like a 31-24 kind of game. Um, so yeah, I mean they won by 20s, but the final score is not going to tell you everything about this game. The defense was their only touchdown in the first half. The defense is very good for Ohio State. They have a very solid defense. They really locked up Maryland in this game. Maryland was up 10-0 at one point in this. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's a stud. I feel like if people didn't know that already, they were definitely reminded in this game. TreVeyon Henderson was out, so maybe that's why the run game kind of struggled for Ohio State. They really couldn't get anything going there, and that's kind of what opens up their pass game. But you got to have better play from the O-line. They have not been good to start the year. The tackles just been honestly pretty awful. So the pass blocking hasn't been there. It's not good for McCord because he's still new, still kind of trying to find his rhythm. And it would help if he didn't have constant pressure in his face. But yeah, Marvin Harrison and Abuka and Cade Stover and Trainum and Mayan Williams and TreVeyon Henderson. I mean, he's got everyone around him, but the offensive line could help him out a little more. Hopefully they figure it out. Josh Proctor had a nice pick six. Good for him. He deserves it. He's been working very hard. And I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good win against the team that I had ranked last week. I think Maryland's fourth best team in the Big Ten. It's either them or Wisconsin, in my opinion. I think Maryland's a little better. So yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good win. I don't know. I predicted 35-20, so I predicted actually a little closer. But I mean, Ohio State got the win. So they had a very good. Second half. Upcoming game at Purdue. Purdue's not a good team. I don't see them struggling at all. 42-13 is my prediction. Purdue's. I mean, if it was basketball, it would be a different story, but it's not. So Ohio State should have no problems there. Georgia moving up 2. I dropped them down 2 actually last week. I had them at number 2 all year. Then last week I dropped them down to 4. I was not very happy with what I saw from them. I was fed up, and they came back and showed the world that they are still here, and they are still a national championship contender. And I was watching the Joel Klatt show, and he was saying how Georgia's kind of like Usain Bolt. He wasn't a good starter as a runner. Yeah, he had the long legs. He wasn't a good starter, but kind of midway through the race, he really just set himself apart from everyone else, and that's kind of what we're seeing with Georgia. We saw it last year too. They struggled with Missouri last year, and then after it was just lights out. Their only struggle game was against Ohio State in the playoffs, and they probably should have lost, but they didn't. They ended up winning, which still pains me to say, but and then they won back-to-back last year, and they're hoping to win 3 in a row, which really, I mean, realistically, hasn't ever been done before. I know Minnesota did it, but that was in the 30s, so it's not even the same game. Yeah, Georgia's really good. They shouldn't have any problems with Vanderbilt. And yeah, they just really reminded everyone that they are here to stay. Anyone doubting them, they really showed out last week. I was very impressed. Carson Beck looked a lot better. Really, just everything looked a whole lot better. So yeah, number 1, Michigan stayed there all year. They just continue to dominate, and I think they should dominate Indiana. Indiana's not a good team at all. I don't know why the score's on the wrong side. It really doesn't matter. You you know I'm not taking Indiana to win 34-0. Yeah, I'm taking Michigan. Obviously, they dominated at Minnesota. PJ Fleck said it was probably the best team he's played against in his entire coaching career. Um, I mean, he's played against some good teams. Played against Ohio State in the past when they've been very good. Played against the Fields-led Ohio State. He's played against the Stroud-led Ohio State. Um, yeah, I mean, Michigan doesn't beat themselves. They don't. They don't get any penalties. They've had one penalty in the past 2 games, and it was on a kick going out of bounds. So they're not going to beat themselves. They're incredibly disciplined, incredibly talented, skilled. They know what they're doing. They know why they're doing it. Um, JJ McCarthy, he's not a guy that will complain that he doesn't get to throw the ball. He's not a guy who's just trying to get stats, and get his NIL deals and his draft stock up. He's just trying to win. He's doing whatever is asked of him to win. He's really the perfect guy for Michigan. And yeah, I mean they just I said this in a past video that I feel like there was like 11, 10 teams that could be national championship contenders, and they really were all kind of together. I feel like now Georgia and Michigan have started to separate themselves just a little, maybe more than a little. Yeah, Georgia and Michigan have kind of. I don't think the other teams that were within those 10 I've been saying previously, I don't think they've stepped down their play. I think, that was kind of, if you were going tiers, that was the A tier, right? All those 10 teams. But I feel like Georgia and Michigan have now just moved up their play, and I think they're now in that S tier. And I feel like they've kind of set themselves a tier above those teams behind them. And obviously, we'll see what happens. Obviously, as the season goes on, it's going to get less and less contenders. We know that, but yeah, I feel like Georgia and Michigan have finally started to separate themselves from the rest of the country. So yeah, Michigan against Indiana, they'll have no problems there. So yeah, it's gonna be a video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a long one, but these are my favorite videos to make. So uh, I mean, college football is probably my favorite thing to watch out of anything, out of any sport. I'd probably say it goes college football 1, um, college basketball 2, NFL 3, NBA 4, MLB 5. That's what I would do. I don't know, so you got my week 7 rankings, and you also got my sports watchability enjoyment rankings. I know you guys don't care about that. But anyways, it's going to be a video. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, my Discord and my X are linked in the description. You can join that. You can follow that, whatever you'd like to do. We do college football every Monday night, NFL picks every Wednesday night, and then MLB Friday, Saturday, Sunday at some point. Now the playoffs have started, so it's kind of hard to find content to be made there. I made my playoff predictions if you want to go check it out. I know the playoffs have already started, so it might be a little late, but you could always go and check it out and watch it. And, basketball season's right around the corner. NBA is about to start up in, I believe, 2 weeks, so maybe we'll bring Connor back for those. Who knows? And then college basketball, which I'm very excited for, is starting in about a month, maybe a month and a half. I haven't really looked into when it starts. I know it's in November at some point, so but yeah, basketball season's right around the corner. Eventually, you'll be getting 4 videos a week from us, so yeah, just subscribe, turn notifications on, stay tuned for that, and yeah, like this video. Really appreciated the support you guys have been showing recently. We're now up to 21 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. That's gonna be the video. We'll see you guys Wednesday with our NFL game predictions. Our NFL week 6. Is it week 6 already for the NFL? Yeah, it is. So NFL Week 6 game predictions will be coming on Wednesday night. So